What's up, guys? Swift here, covering everything Chicago Bears. Today I want to talk about our general manager, Ryan Poles. There's a false report spreading throughout Bears media that Kevin Warren wants to move on from Poles this offseason and bring in his own guys. The problem is this report isn't based off of anything factual, it's just one man's opinion on what he thinks the Bears could do this offseason. I believe there's zero truth to that report, and Ryan Poles' job should be as safe as anyone's. I understand what our record is over the last year and a half, but I also understand this is a real rebuild, and Poles effectively tore down this roster last year, and this year is the first year he's actually rebuilding the team. I love what he's been able to do. I love what Poles is building, but today I figured we would look back at the moves he's made as the Bears GM and let those moves speak for themselves. Let's check out the hits and misses. Most of his draft picks, it's too early to tell, but the free agent pickups and trades he's made, a couple of them already look like home runs. DJ Moore is a legit stud and possibly the best player on this entire roster. So is Montez Sweat. Those are the kind of players you build around. Huge wins for Ryan Poles there. I think he's made some other really good moves as well. Signing Tremaine Edmonds and TJ Edwards, getting a huge value with Andrew Billings, drafting bookend tackles with Darnell Wright and Braxton Jones, and then transforming our entire secondary with Kyler Gordon, Jaquan Brisker, and Tyreek Stevenson. On top of that, Gervon Dexter looks like he's going to be a monster. A lot of these guys are too young to judge right now, but Ryan Poles has added talent all over the place. But what about his misses? So far, Poles has two major misses, and both guys were athletic freaks with upside. Chase Claypool was a huge miss. I don't fault him for the move, as Claypool's talent is out of this world. But Ryan Poles made the decision to cut the cord on him after realizing that Claypool doesn't seem like a guy who loves the game of football. And then Velus Jones Jr., he's only in his second year, but so far he looks like he isn't ready for the NFL stage. That pick was likely a miss. But then let's dig deeper. Let's look at some of the big hits outside of the draft, like undrafted free agents Jack Sanborn, Tyson Bagent, Jalen Jones, and more. And then you got other free agents like Nate Davis, DeMarcus Walker, and Yannick Ngakoue. I don't put these guys with the hits or misses. I view them as moves that were needed to fill holes, and so far the jury is still out on them. Overall though, Ryan Poles has completely overturned this roster, 43 out of 53 players in less than 2 years. That's over 80% of the entire roster, all Ryan Poles acquisitions. The naysayers will say, but we haven't won anything yet. The smart fans though are going to look at how this Bears team had the division leading Lions on the ropes in Detroit last week, which brings me to my next point. Ryan Poles' job is not just bringing in talent and managing the 53-man roster, he also hired the coaching staff. I think most of you know that I believe in Ryan Poles' abilities as a talent evaluator. I'm comfortable with him making our draft picks and signing free agents and making trades. He has a unique eye for talent, and he tries to build out this entire roster, not just plug holes with duct tape. Ryan Poles gets it, but in order for this team to get to the level that he wants it to, Poles has to make a decision on this coaching staff. I believe a huge part of Poles' evaluation is going to come down to how much he believes in Matt Eberflus. When this season ends, most Bears fans and media people will be calling for Eberflus's job. He's looked lost at times, and the Luke Getsy offense has looked even worse. You would have to be blind to not see the talent that Poles has found for the roster, but you'd also have to be blind to ignore the fact that through 28 games, Matt Eberflus has managed to win just 6 of them. The coaching staff is the biggest question for me going forward, and Ryan Poles' job is to get it right. His decision this offseason to either move on or give Flus another chance is going to be huge for Ryan Poles. I think he can be one of the best GMs in the league, but he has to get the coaching hires right. If he doesn't, it's going to haunt him going forward and hold this team back and keep us from getting to the level we want. To me, I think Poles has done an awesome job of acquiring talent, being shrewd in free agency, and setting this team up for the future, giving us extra draft picks, a ton of cap space, and ultimate flexibility. Having an extra first or second round pick for 3 straight years in the draft really gives this team extra draft capital to continue improving the roster. Poles' job is not done yet, not even close, but after a year and a half, I couldn't be happier with the talent he's brought in and how much better this roster looks on paper. People always love to nitpick and live in a vacuum, but you have to look at his overall body of work and what this roster looked like when he was hired. To me, Ryan Poles is doing an awesome job, but he needs to continue working hard because this offseason is huge. His decision on both Luke Getsy and Matt Eberflus is going to be really big. And then he also has 2 first-round picks to make, a new contract for Jalen Johnson and possibly Darnell Mooney. Ryan Poles is again going to be a very busy man this year, but to me, I think his job is safe. I think he's building this roster the right way and has this team on the path to being competitive again. It's not an overnight process, but we are on the right track. As for the coaches, though, I'm not sold on them as we sit here today, but I also realize that if this team plays well down the stretch, these coaches could be back. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Hit that like button for me. And until next time, bear down.